everyone. Welcome to Terry TV. Terry Hardin here, Walt Disney's legendary Imagineer and pop icon. Done Henson, done Ghostbusters, worked on Captain EO, worked on Dinosaurs, the TV show, and just a plethora of things, a mountain of things, if you will. But it's a if those of you who are joining me for the first time, welcome. And those of you and you're wondering, hey, she's a bit late. Forgive me. There's a lot in the news to talk about today, and I was speaking with my tribe, Terry's tribe, to try and get the ducks in a row, and lost a little track of the time. So my apologies for that. And now it's here. I'll be forever late, because if I leave this up on YouTube, it'll always be me going, and by the way, I'm sorry I'm late. And people say, don't apologize for being late, but I had to today because I was a lot later than I expected. But welcome. Good to see you. How are you doing? And I thought Terry TV needed to talk about Tiana today, because I have to tell you that it's been the buzz. I'm sure you all have heard about this new audio animatronic figure that Disney introduced. The Disney Imagineers introduced it, and it surprises me a little, being an Imagineer, okay? Before we get really into it, I'll tell you what kind of an Imagineer I am. I am a come here, get away Imagineer. Disney will often hire me to help them get past a deadline when it comes to sculpting things like rock work, or fine-tuning a couple of little things, an arm or a hand. It's usually nothing the featured things. Sometimes it's the featured creators, but a lot of times it's just to catch them up. 3 weeks behind, 2 weeks behind. They'll bring me in, and I'm last hired, first fired, which is a nice position for me. So I like it very much. But as an Imagineer, one of the things I love about Imagineers is collaboration and creativity. This time, I'm seeing some restrictions. So Tiana has been a bit of a heartbreaker for me, as I did the splash boat for Florida and Tokyo. And Tokyo still has Splash Mountain there. Bless their hearts. Love you, Japan. Thank you for realizing that it's not a racist ride. The problem with trying to please everybody is you can't. Okay, I'm stating the obvious here. You can't please everybody. And when they announced that they were going to change Splash Mountain Walt Disney World and Splash Mountain Anaheim Disneyland here in California to a Tiana ride, many people who they were trying to please said, oh, great, we get hand-me-downs. I mean, I don't know if you've heard this, and feel free to post it in the comments, but they said, great, Tiana doesn't get her own ride. She gets a hand-me-down ride. And I remember saying, well, again, you can't please everybody, but also the space is limited here in California at the Anaheim location. So, of course, they're going to need to maybe sacrifice something to create something new. And I said, as much as I'm going to miss the Splash Mountain ride, this isn't the first time that Disney has reallocated certain figures to other attractions. If you remember the final sequence in Splash Mountain, they grabbed the America Sings characters, the hens. I lay down my burden down by the riverside. These were America Sings characters that were in Tomorrowland that were transported over to Splash Mountain. And there was nothing wrong with this. Reprogrammed, redone, and they were redressed. They were still hens and chickens, though. My challenge always with when you're on budget with something is taking an understructure and trying to stretch something over the understructure, or use something that's been used before to depict a character who was very, very, excuse me, I'm gonna have to take a drink of tea in a minute here. I don't know why that's happening a little bit, and I couldn't even tell you what it is. But back to this Tiana bit. What I'm seeing in the character is I saw the new image of Tiana, and the first thing I noticed is she has a very chubby face. And Tiana has a very narrow face, doesn't she? One of the things that I thought was lovely about Tiana, New Orleans, was that she was on the vertical, that animators made her more of a vertical portrait. So you have an oval face, narrow, higher here and here, and a bun on top to illustrate that dynamic. So if I use my hair and I pile it up, you see, let me slide down here. Well, I could just raise my camera and not be so lazy, right? There we go. Let's raise that up a little bit. There we go. But as you see it in costuming, even if you pull this back and you raise this up, it emphasizes that vertical and that narrow line. This is Tiana. Take a look at the animated movie, or pull up a picture of animated Tiana, and she's very, very, very vertical. So you say to yourself, wait a minute, hold on a second. I'm going to just do something here. I can't spell to save my life sometimes. There we go. Here we go. No, that's not what I wanted. There we go. Isn't it fun to watch me play on my phone? There we go. Okay, here we go. A lot of people are doing trying to. It's interesting because as I look at these pictures of her, I'm seeing that she a lot of times they're not doing her forward, they're doing her like a 3/4, which makes her face look narrower than the animated one. There she is. Princess and the Frog. Let's see if we can show you a example of her face here. And I will show you. I should have had this up for you guys, but I didn't, so I apologize. There we go. That'll work. So that, I mean, I'm not in my studio today, guys, and I apologize for that. I had an incident involving my garage, and I needed to move some stuff out with my shop. I'm not going to go into it too much, but I can't even get to my cameras right now. So I had to do it here. But if we look at the two figures, and I apologize, we got to use it on my phone, but you guys will do it. I mean, here is the actual Tiana animated figure. And I'm sure all of you guys have already seen this, but I'm weighing in on it, okay? So there's two things I want to teach you here. Number one, no matter if a million people have weighed in on it, your opinion is going to be different, as my opinion is going to be different. So here is the adorable, attractive Tiana. Remember, I told you, remember what I said in the beginning? Here is the other one. Now, I know I don't have the full figure, but you can find her. You can see that her face is wider. Whoops, that's me. Wider than this one. There is no vertical because they decided to make her have a different hairstyle, which widens her head. So now when you have your hair down like this, what happens is that when your hair is like this, okay, it creates more width than height. This is kind of a makeup and hair lesson for you guys today. It creates more width, emphasizing the wide as opposed to the vertical. Now, in my case, I have a very vertical face like Tiana, so you'd think this is more difficult to do. Why, you ask? Why is she wider in the face? Why are her eyes? Look at the eye shape. Look at the distance between between the eyes and over the nose. Okay, I want you to really pay attention to that. All right, now let's go back to Tiana here. Okay, now there's a wider width, and then the distance between her nose And the animated nose, gosh, I keep going to my other picture, is shorter. It's a shorter distance between, where's that little, here, this is what, there's a shorter distance between eyes and nose. Okay, there's a nice short, there's a distance. All of this, for those of you who don't sculpt, draw, or paint, all of this changes the face. If you drop the nose or you bring the nose up, that's going to change her face. If you change the lips in any way, all of this is going to change her face. And in this case, we've got, and her cheeks aren't as puffy. See, she has less puffy cheeks. Okay, so we go to the other one. I also want you to notice, before I go to the other one, look at the shape of the eye here. So the eye is on an axis. You see this line here? This comes up from the nose, but it doesn't, it's not like mine. If we look at mine starts here, it goes like this and starts here, almost on an even keel. But if you look here, the tear duct is lower, isn't it, from the outside of the eye? Do you see that? So the outside of the eye, if I go like this, ooh, if I go like this is the same. Tear duct is about on the same level as my eye. But with this original Tiana, the tear duct, then the outside of the eye is higher, isn't it? Look at that. By a full, if you look at this, by a full ½ inch, okay? This eye shape is very different. Those of you who collect Tinkerbell often are upset because they make the eyes this shape and Tinkerbell's eyes are different. So the Imagineers have decided to give her that higher eye shape, but it's not the full, it's more based on a square, not maybe on a triangle. I can't tell you. All I know is that this eye is more fish shape, and this one is more big and round. Maybe they thought it would be cuter being big and round. Maybe that's their story and they're sticking to it. If you look at her mouth and lips, this too is different. Okay, now I did choose a picture that you can't really see the mouth and lips, but they're not as full. All right, if we go back again, the eyebrow shapes are different. Look at how she has a big, thick eyebrow in the center. And if you go to the other one, the eyebrow is the same shape all the way across. Guys, all of these features are very important. And this troubles me because these are Imagineers doing this thing. That being said, and before we start snarking at the Disney Imagineers, someone in the catbird seat is guiding this boat. Play on words. Okay, someone's guiding this. All right, what are they guiding? I'll tell you what they're guiding. They're telling them that they're on budget, that they probably gave them a very, very, very low budget. I remember hearing Tony Baxter say that the coffers really didn't have the money to change Splash Mountain. That in order to create a brand new attraction, it's going to cost some cash, isn't it? And Tony Baxter said, if you're not going to do it right, why do it? And very, very well spoken, especially if you're Disney and especially if you're Disney Imagineers. So he was on the project originally, I understand it, but then he left. Don't know why he left, but I would imagine that it was that they were sacrificing so many budget cuts that here's what appears to be happening to yours truly. Only to Terri Hardin, sculptor, designer, internationally trademarked artist and sculptor, and Disney Imagineer. Okay, also a cosplayer. I've done this for a long time, guys. I've sculpted a lot of characters. And one of the reasons that my work is so coveted is because it's what we call on model, meaning that it looks like what you're collecting. It's not no new wave, weird color, vinylmation or whatever. I'm not saying that vinylmations aren't great because some of you love those little guys, but here in California, most people want it to be on model, meaning they want it to look like the character created. They want Maleficent to look like Maleficent, and they would like Tiana to look like Tiana. But she doesn't in the figure. They changed her hair and they changed her outfit. Now, I don't mind her outfit being changed too much because it's her adventure, but I think it should have been a little more complimentary to her. And unfortunately, it's not emphasizing the vertical. If you look at Tiana in her beautiful dress, the vertical is emphasized, ending in a bell, a lot like the handle of a bell, ring a ding a ding a ding a ding ding. Her upper body is very shapely, and then it goes into a bell, kind of balancing her. In this case, they don't do that. I don't know what they're doing with the figure, but it doesn't seem to be working. Here's what I think happened. I think they took a bell, Belle, from Beauty and the Beast head. Okay, so the understructure of the Beauty and the Beast head, which is wider, pull up Belle and see if I'm not wrong. Look at that against the animatronic. And the Belle figure is a wider shape. Belle has a wider face. And so they probably peeled the skin off of the animatronic of Belle, and they made the skin of Tiana fit that understructure of that skull, eyes, everything. Why? One word, guys, budget. Budget. And the Imagineers' hands were tied in many cases. Apparently, to hear many people, and all you have to do is Google Princess and the Frog new attraction, or Splash Mountain replacement, Princess and the Frog, or whatever, and you look at the original concept art and what is being built, and the one thing you can see is a lack of budget with a capital B. And this is one of the things that's very painful, is that you make a promise, you do these glorious illustrations, everybody gets excited, and then you get hit with budget. And even if the budget you're given in the beginning is your budget, they have no qualms, no worries about making your budget smaller and smaller as you build, which is just unheard of for any artist. You know, you just don't do that. You know, you just don't do that. So if we go back to the hand-me-down, you can imagine, am I wrong or am I right when I say those of you who thought the ride was a hand-me-down to begin with feel like now you have a hand-me-down character, and the understructure is a hand-me-down white character. Now, I'm mixed races, guys. I look at both sides of the fence, black half of my family, white half of my family. But a lot of people were telling me, you know, you're doing the same thing. You're not really helping people of color because you're doing a hand-me-down. Now, y'all didn't feel that way, including myself. I thought, hey, there's real estate. Even Florida has to think about real estate. I know they're big, but they're not Shanghai. So they've got to think about area, location, how much room do they have? So that's when you've got Splash Mountain sitting there and you need to change it to something, you are confined to the area that Splash Mountain occupies. So they just said Tiana Ride seemed like a good segue into something new, which they've always done. Okay. But the problem is taking a figure like Belle, and I cannot say that this is the case. I'm just saying that I looked at many of the YouTube channel comparisons, and then I did my own comparison, and it looks like it's exactly that they took an audio animatronic figure of Belle and they just put skin over it. Now, this is also probably why they changed her hairstyle, because heaven knows she could still keep her hair up in a bun wearing this kind of adventure outfit that they've got her in. They could keep the bun so you could have some sort of tie to the movie, but they don't. Here's why. Because the audio animatronic figure that if the audio, it's a mouthful, isn't it? If the audio animatronic figure is indeed Belle wider face, and if you look at Belle's hairstyle, which is full with a little ponytail, it's the same fullness on the new Tiana. Why? Because the skin only goes so far back. So if you don't cover certain areas, you're going to have exposed mechanics. So you see, they could have figured out how to use that head and maybe put a bun on it, but that's, again, more money, more time, more effort. that it appears to me, looking at the attraction and looking at the figure, that the Imagineers just didn't have time to do. And being at the mercy of a budget cut while working on a project, Big Thunder Paris, which you all love, and how lovely, 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 the what am I trying to say? How absolutely lovely certain things that they did. So what I'm trying to say is, Big Thunder in Paris, you love, but it's not the Big Thunder we originally created for Paris. We too were at the mercy of a budget cut that came just before we were about to ship the model over to Paris for them to recreate, to create the attraction a day. Still a fantastic ride, but not what the Imagineers, i.e. me and Vasily, had envisioned. And so this is what I think is happening. And I wanted to put my voice here and talk about the Tiana ride, because some people are saying, well, how dare the Imagineers just take liberties? They don't. They don't have, we can take a lot of liberties as Imagineering, as long as the budget we're told to work with stays the budget we're told to work with. You follow? The minute they cut it, we got to figure out, what are we going to cut, how we're going to cut it. And one of the last things to go in an attraction is the audio animatronic figure. So you can imagine that the audio animatronic folks were like, you mean we can't build a dedicated Tiana figure? You can look at it in a lot of the sculptures that you buy today. If you are a Snow White aficionado, you love Snow White, or you love Cinderella, or you love Belle, or you love the princesses. But all of a sudden, when you're buying them off the shelf, they all look the same. There's a reason for that. They're just painted in the colors. Nobody does a different casting. I have to, because I can't, but I'm also not doing thousands. But when I sculpt a character, I do the unique thing. And the thing about Snow White, if you look at her eyes are further apart than any other princess. The average distance between the eyes, and if I take my glasses off, the average distance between your tear ducts is another eye shape, just FYI, right? But in the case of Snow White, it's 1.5. Go back and look, especially those of you who love Snow White and don't know why. Her eyes are actually 1.5 eyes apart. And that's a very important thing. Tiana looks to be, let me look at her again. She looks to be between about 1.25 eyes apart in this picture. Her eyes are very arced. A lot of times people draw Tinkerbell's eyes this way, but it creates a very different image on overall shape and look of this young lady, as opposed to this one, which is bland, which is kind of blah. And of course, because the hair is, I really am telling you, I think this is over a Belle. And I don't know if anyone can confirm that, but if it's confirmed, then Belle is a white chick, and now they put a black chick skin over. Oh, the ramifications, guys. I don't want to start stirring pots, but it does create some questions. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why couldn't she have her own character? It's not just bare shoulders and everything. She has a very vertical face, and you could have put this face. If I had the time, and maybe I'll do that Monday for you. I don't know if I'm broadcasting Monday morning, President's Day, but if I do, maybe I can show you. We'll put her in the outfit, dressed with the bun, not the earrings, not the pearl necklace, not the little dress, but we'll take this drawing and we'll outfit her in the in this outfit, which you can't see the outfit, but trust me. And show you how the figure could have easily been looking like Tiana. The clothes are not what's causing Tiana not to look like Tiana. Hairstyle's part of it, but it's mostly wide face and hairstyle. Yeah. Emphasizing the horizontal as opposed to the vertical. Y'all watch Outer Limits? We can adjust the vertical. We can adjust the horizontal. That's what they're playing with. And the main reason they probably were playing with that is because what other choice did they have? They had to have a Tiana figure. And if they're not given the budget to build one, they have to come up with something. And that's what I suspect, which is one of the reasons I broadcasted today for you, is to tell you that I think the Imagineers' hands were tied. You know, you're given a budget in the beginning, you do those beautiful concept art drawings, and then look what you get. Says to me with a capital B, budget was cut. So lead with tolerance, guys. Give the Imagineers some love. Pray that they can get enough money to make it a really fantastic ride, because I know you guys are wanting a good ride to replace it, a pretty ride, a new experience, as well you all deserve. I wish they would have asked you. I don't know why Disney doesn't want to ask the fans. Walt, as I've said before, had his own advisory committee, so I don't understand why this is not happening. But there you go. There's my 2 cents in there. Let's see what you have to say. If you want to chime in, feel free to chime in. Or, like Bob Burdine, just say good morning. David says the red dot theme is 75 years of Wile E. Coyote, Roadrunner, and the Desert and Acme. Oh my goodness. Okay, so what is this? You may be asking yourselves out there in the big wide public world. I will be posting on my Instagram page, on my Facebook page, and in my Patreon page to invite people to be a part of this red dot auction. And if you do sign up to do this, please mention that you heard it from me, TERRI HARDIN. I don't get anything for it, but what it does is makes that charity very happy to hear that we are spreading the word. So it just lets them know that I'm spreading the word. So what is the red dot? Chuck Jones Red Dot Auction is a charity to help Chuck Jones Society for Creativity have enough money to teach young people and all people about the arts, animation, stop motion, everything. And I've actually taken a couple of stop motion classes there. They're usually for kids, but for me, that's my speed. I love learning like a kid, always have. And they're remarkable, and they don't charge the children. So it's really great. They have special people come and talk. In fact, I'm going to pressure them this year to let me talk. But my point is this: they're a great organization. It's a great charity organization. Please Google Red Dot. Everyone is invited to do a painting. Now, you're not paid for the painting. The paintings are on 12 by 12-inch canvases. And if you go now, you can request a canvas. They will send you one for absolutely free. And you can do a sketch on it. You can do a painting on it. It doesn't have to be the theme, which David has shared with me today. It can be anything. It can be Chuck Jones. It can be, I have someone in Terry's tribe that painted a beautiful iris flower. And in the middle, it was a red dot. And it sold. Someone really loved it. So you can paint what you want to paint. And then hopefully someone will buy it. And the money goes to charity. Now, in trade, you're invited to the gala. So that's a really nice trade. You get some stuff to drink. You get to hobnob with people. All of the paintings, with the exception of a few of us, are signed on the back. So you judge by the art, not by the person doing the sketching. So it's pretty exciting. It's pretty exciting. So I hope you will consider it. Even if you don't paint, it doesn't matter. And they have a special division of kids, so kids draw and paint. And it's just wonderful, guys. The idea of the red dot is a buy it now. So if you see something you like, there is a buy it now price, much like you see on an eBay or something like that. And if you love it so much and you say, I love that so much, I'm going to buy it now, then you put a red dot on it and you pay the buy it now price. And that's considered like the Oscar of people doing charities. But honestly, selling it, I think, is the real blessing. And the first time I did it, my painting didn't sell. But I had such a good time that I enter it all the time, not worrying whether or not my piece sells or not. Last year's piece, I got an extra kudo, which was I was invited to, they asked if they could create prints. And I did the Year of the Rabbit, and the Year of the Rabbit featuring Bugs Bunny, the Year of the Rabbit and Marvin the Martian which Marvin the Martian was the theme last year. Marvin was chasing bugs, and it was Year of the Rabbit, and it was done in the red and gold colors of Year of the Rabbit. And so this year, very cool. And they asked to do a print, and you can get that for $195 to the charity. So think about it. It's fun. It's exciting. That's what David's talking about. Deadline for the paintings are in March, late March. But if you get on it now, you'll have plenty of time to do a painting. You can also supply your canvas. You can do a canvas of your very own, any size, shape. I saw one guy do tiling where he did a painting, but it went through like a triptych, 1, 2, 3. That was very interesting and fun. So they love the creativity. They really don't have a lot of restrictions. Just don't paint one that's the size of a building. Hard to transport. So, keep them cool, keep them simple. Some people use a classic 20 by 24, but they really are saying, for space, just, plan on 12 by 12, 12 by 16, kind of in there, and I think you'll really enjoy doing it. I've done it for 4 or 5 years now. I think my first one was red dot number 3 or 4. I can't remember. And now it's red dot number 14, I think, right, David? Red dot 14, I think is the latest one. So I've been with them a while. Been with them. Might have done 4, might have been my first one. Hard to remember because I had such a good time. But it's really worth it. It's really worth going, meet a lot of cool people, get to hobnob with artists. It's really, really worth it. So please look it up, learn about it, and reach out to the information. And I hope you join us. And please tell them I sent you. Terri Hardin sent you. Thank you. Good afternoon. Hello from Montua, New Jersey. Thank you, Linda. So cool. Hi, Terri. How are you today? Mike, you always ask. I'm actually good because I'm talking to you. Hello, Terri. Happy sunshiny day. Yes, Jeanette. Beautiful outside, huh? But we're about to get some rain, aren't we? We are about to get some rain. Why in the world does Disney have budget? John Chester, I didn't say it. I knew one of you would. It doesn't make sense, does it? It makes absolutely zero sense unless some of these folks are getting some beach houses. I mean, I don't know. I don't know why you have to pay the people in charge so much money. And I don't understand why you don't ask your fans. People look at my art and they go, man, Terri does some great art. And I say, I just ask. Would you like me to do A? Okay, so right now, and I do it mostly with my tribe, okay? Terri's tribe is the place where I ask people what do they think will be new and good and cool. And I often show it to them first. For example, let me do a demo for you because John says, why do they have a budget cut? Disney, they make $47 million a day. So he's right. Why? It is a question that needs to be asked. Absolutely, it needs to be asked. So on my Patreon page, the page you go to, patreon.com/Terri Hardin, I'll put it up in a minute. I'm often asking, what do you think? I did this. I decided to print a poster. Here it is. I'm going to hide the comment for a moment. Here is the poster. And you notice it has these kind of areas here. This is a poster of my Ezra sculpture, my Blacklight Ghost. Here, that's a little better. My Ezra Blacklight Ghost. And it is I think it is I can't remember the dimensions of it. It's a small poster, but a big frameable thing. It's really cool. And they are going to be available at my next show. They are open edition. I don't know. I think they're going to sell for at least $20. I'm not sure which. Signed. We'll see. I'm not sure. I did some art proofs and there maybe 2 left. but these are the actual ones open. There is no edition size. These are open. I haven't done the other 2 ghosts yet, but they're very, very popular. People are asking me if they can buy the poster. It's a poster of my art. I actually did these figures of the ghosts and sold them as sculptures. The black light ghosts are still available, actually. But that's what I do. I ask my tribe, patreon.com/Terri Hardin. I call them up. I call them up. I reach out to them and I ask them, do you like them? You can tell me now in the comments if you think they're cool. And I'll tell you how you can buy one if you want to buy one. But the point is that this is what I do. I ask, what would you like to see next? What would you like to see next? Right now, I'm currently working on the Rolly Crump chess set. That is a project that continues to be quite an extensive project, but that's because of some challenges in my life and some challenges all the way around. So I'm back on that now after I get my taxes done, which is a challenge for all of us. Well, maybe not all of us, but something we artists don't like to do. At least I don't. So I have to kind of gear myself up for it. But I've got to get that done first, and then all of that. But if you're interested in joining Terri's tribe, go to patreon.com/Terri Hardin. $5 a month. And I do 2 broadcasts, one before this one on Monday, one before this one on Friday. And then again, I have a Zoom call, mostly Wednesday mornings, but occasionally a Monday evening. And because it's President's Day weekend, we're doing a Monday evening because there's people on the East Coast that really would like to chime in. And so we do a nighttime one, try to do one once a month for everybody. And then it's mostly morning because morning works for the people across the pond, Australia, UK, Paris, Portugal, those places, all the morning one works better for them. So I love to have them be able to chime in if they'd like to. So that's how it works. $5 a month. Go over, check it out. There are higher levels, higher portals if you want to be a part of them, but I haven't populated those as well. So you may just want to wait till I tell you, now for so much per month, you get this because I'm getting back on track as we speak. So there you go. That's what that is. There you go. I also want to talk about an auction, a very special auction handled by my friend, Alan. And Alan is quite a collector. Let me just show you how this works. I'm going to go here on my phone. And like I said, I could have done this all a little more sophisticatedly. As you know, I have a great system, but I couldn't this time because of some work I have going on in my shop as we speak. So I'm kind of just chilling about it. But let me see if I can find Alan in my there he is. Okay, so here we go. Alan is doing a special auction on Whatnot. And I'm sure many of you have heard of Whatnot, but it looks like this, okay? And if I tap it, so here is, copy this and put this in your browser, and your browser will do this. It will take you to the Whatnot. You see that go yellow? And then here is Alan's auction. And up at the top here, you can get a notification. At the bottom here, you can enter your payment particulars so you can actually bid the auction. When is the auction? Listed at the bottom of your screen. The auction is Sunday, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. And he's selling a lot of really cool posters, many signed. So do yourself a favor on Sunday and take a peek. There might be something you want. Okay, I'm not saying there is, but no harm in looking, right? And let's say you don't know Whatnot, like yours truly, and you'd like to see how it works. This is a great opportunity to watch this auction or an auction you see on there that you like. Maybe posters don't appeal to you. And you can see how the auction is held. Okay, that's the deal, is how is the auction actually held? What's it take to do an auction? Sell your stuff, right? So that's kind of the reason I'll watch it as well, because sell, you may want to auction off your stuff, and eBay may not be the only, it's telling you it's not the only option. According to Alan, Whatnot gives you a special guide and a coach to teach you how to auction on Whatnot. So it's something to check out. So just me, it's my friend Alan. I told him I'd tell you all about the auction because I know many of you look for rare posters. He has a lot of rare posters. He has a lot of rare items, but this time I think he's featuring mostly posters and one sheets. So take a peek. Not going to hurt to look, and there might be something you want. Okay. All right. I promised him I would do that. Yes. So James is saying that's so interesting to John Chester's 47 million a day. So why are they under budget? Yeah, your question is a good one. I thought it looked more like her mom than it did Tiana. Yeah, well, it's full figure, right? She's got more of a full figure. She has a fuller face. And then the hair comes down in kind of a classic. Yeah, I agree. It could be that. But I really think it was stretched over the Bell audio animatronic. I was overseeing a sculpture for a bronze that was being put at the Rose Bowl. And I had to help the family make sure it was on model, meaning it looked like who they were putting there, right? Because here's the thing that all Imagineers will tell you. If you wait until it's in concrete and plaster, it's a lot harder to erase than if you use a power eraser on a drawing. Duh, right? But if you let it go and you let it go and you let it go until it gets to the hardcore, like we're all the way to this figure, now what can they do? How much leeway do they have to change it? As many people say, ooh, you really don't want to wait till then. So I coached the family, because a lot of times when a family works with an artist like myself, an Imagineer that has some history behind me, they're too shy to say what they really think. This is not the time to be shy. If anyone in your family or you are being depicted in a bronze, you be detail oriented, especially if it's going to be located in a public place. Okay? Because otherwise the family will suffer. Sometimes the sculptor will suffer too, but it's the family that takes the brunt of it if they're still alive. If it doesn't look like the person depicted, the family is being told constantly, it really doesn't look like him. Why does it look like that? Why was it sculpted like that? And it's hard if it's a relative, a sister, a brother, a dad, or a mom, or whatever it is. You don't want that coming back to the family. So I basically kept telling the family, now is the time to change it. And the sculptor was trying to pass off a previous figure for the figure of the new figure. He could save some money that way. But we weren't having it. I wasn't having it, and we weren't having it. So that's why I'm saying, this is why I'm looking at this figure thinking it's the Bell figure. And I actually went and looked on YouTube, and there's several people that think it's the Bell figure. So in fact, I think someone sent me something just recently and did the overlay. So I was thinking it, they were thinking it, many of us are thinking it, right? So I'm just saying, James, you're being a sweetheart. Tiana's mom. Bless your heart for that. Could be Tiana's mom. Fuller figure, fuller face. Nothing wrong with a full figure. Nothing wrong with it. It just has to look like Tiana's full figure, doesn't it? If she's going to, maybe it's later and she put on a couple of pounds because the Creole was delicious. That's fine. Nothing wrong with it. But hard to say, It just doesn't look like her. It doesn't look like her. The eye shape is weird. The distance between nose and eyes and the mouth is different. Just everything is different. And I don't know why you would change it, except for you're trying to make it fit the skull. The understructure of the skull. Bones are the foundation of any sculpture. The bone, the structure of the beast, of the animal, of the, you couldn't make a frog out of an alligator skull. I mean, you could try. It's going to be doggone hard. You need a frog skull. If you're going to make a frog, you need to analyze what a frog skull looks like. A dog skull. Can't put a cat on a dog skull. Can't put a dog on a cat skull. You see, the skull is the foundation. I collect skulls, and people are like, "Why do you collect skulls?" Because I pull them out, and I actually, like when I do a cat, I did a cat for Jungle to Jungle. You may remember that movie with Tim Allen when he does a blow dart and hits a cat. That's my cat. I did not cover the cat in the beautiful fur. That was a friend of mine, but I did the understructure of it, and I sculpted the face, the understructure, the foundation, if you will. If the house is on a sandy foundation or the wrong foundation, it's going to collapse. This is what happens with stuff like this. This is why you keep putting icing on what is a bad foundation of a cake. It's still going to be a bad foundation. Are you following me here? I hope you are. Am I getting too But the bottom line is the skull is the foundation. You cannot make, the cheekbones can be wide. The eye sockets can be closer to the nose cavity, and you cannot change that unless you're intentionally making it a different creature in your program, in your 3D sculpting. Now you're making your own creature based on an actual skull, for example. Yeah, that's different when you're creating creatures and mythical creatures. That's different. Okay, but once you're trying to create a creature and she's not a mythical creature, Tiana, she's a living, breathing character. We want her to look like our living, breathing character, don't we? Yeah, so go figure. I don't know. I'm surprised that they didn't use shadowing like makeup to appear to change the appearance of her face. The problem is she's an audio animatronic character. So if they shade it too much and she moves, you see what I mean? She's going to be lit for the attraction, which is going to change the way she looks. But then when she moves in that surface, that's going to alter it as well. If you're in Pirates of the Caribbean and you look at the Johnny Depp character, the audio animatronic Johnny Depp that's in several parts of the attraction, do you notice how sometimes it does look Johnny Depp and sometimes it looks like, what happened there? It's because they tried to do that with paint and stuff, yet they're lighting it because it's theater. Everything changes. Every element alters. Every element alters. You see? Alters. 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 It just does. It does. You see? It alters things. And so if you get a light from certain areas, as well as you're doing the chiseling with darker makeup and stuff like you see people do for certain theatrical things. In the digital age, it's harder to do the classic makeup effects because they're seen. If you watch The Hobbit, I remember seeing that it was in Ultra 4D or Ultra. Lindsay knows what that's called, my husband. But you could see the lace of the wigs. So the wigs, many of you know, are made of lace and then they're applied, and then there's a blending that happens on the forehead. If a person wants to be Mark Twain, they'll lay down the hair and then the white wig will come up and go up on top. You have to be very careful digitally. It's a whole new ballgame because digital shows so much. Unlike film hid stuff, and many of the most professional, most well-known makeup artists knew where to swim in those waters. Suddenly being hit with digital, which is like turning on the work lights, and they were like, because all of the things they had worked within were now eliminated. That's why, Jennifer. Jeanette. That's why, Jeanette, this is a terrific question. Beach houses, good point. Disney has lost touch with its people because it doesn't ask. John, they don't ask you. Walt Disney had an advisory committee. Walt Disney, you may remember him. If it's good enough for Walt Disney, ... Our frustration is seen here. Diane says, good morning. Good morning, Diane. Ryan Phelps. Hi, Ryan. I was the person who brought 3 of Alan's pieces at his first auction. They were delivered to my parents' place in Palm Springs, and I now need to get them up to Canada. Ryan, I saw how excited you were to get them. And the other thing that you did, and I'd love for you to chime in here. Was it easy to bid and win them? I know you reached out to Alan and asked him if he could elaborate on, you didn't get to see a Snow White poster or something like that, and he went ahead and pulled it out for you so you can actually communicate with him while he's auctioning. Isn't that right? So that's what makes that, excuse me, my camera is irritating me. There we go. That's a little better. See, there's just so much. My husband gets after me with too much space up here. So I'm trying to fix that. But Ryan, thank you for speaking today and popping in, because very important to state this point. And how did you enjoy it? And how did you like the Whatnot auction as compared to maybe an eBay auction? It's kind of fun it looked to me to be fun to be live. But anything you can add was great. And yes, I remember you very well. And I will probably sneak in and take a look at what he's got. He's lowered some prices this time, he said, and he's also going to introduce a couple of new things, he said. So we'll see what he does, but I was fascinated. Bob Burdine says, many at the studio are very aware of the change and are not happy at all. They are systematically losing the Disney magic. The parks are losing guests. WDW is not the #1 tourist destination for the first time in many years. Please understand, I am not trying to bash Disney. It's the direction they are enacting, and Bob is observing it, isn't he? Yes, Bob has made that observation. We all have. Why do we even post and talk about it over and over and over again? Because we pray that one of us, if we share it, if we speak it, if we keep saying it, it will hit on somebody somewhere, and maybe a change could happen. Silence doesn't help change, does it? And all of us are saying, wow, it may sound a little bit like complaining, but it's not. It's just, we know how we could help you because we love Disney as guests and followers and artists. We love this company. And yet they insist on trying to figure it out themselves. It takes a village. Did anyone not know that? It takes a village. Why not ask the collectors? I'm successful because I ask the collectors. I ask you. That's my secret. What do you want next? Then I talk about what we're going to do next. That's how it works. Plain and simple. Yeah. So I'm not saying, I'm any great guru. I'm just saying, hey, guys, guess what? Disney, you got a lot of money. You're doing a lot of work. But hey, how about this? How about asking those who attend your park? Now, many are going to say, you got to figure out a way to bring the price down because it's crazy. And one of the things that's really crazy, that's a little painful to me, is that with the prices of the park so high, they're getting rid of a lot of places that are economical to eat outside at downtown Disney. You used to have Tortilla Joe's, and Tortilla Joe's, although the food wasn't spectacular, you could feed a family for a decent, price. Now they seem to be bringing in a lot of the higher end things. We have a Porto's here, so I don't know how Porto's will look at Disneyland, but where it's located right now, the Earl of Sandwich is located there, and I keep saying they should leave the Earl of Sandwich right where it is and put Porto's where they plan to put the Earl of Sandwich, which is closer to the Disneyland Hotel where it was before. Now, Earl of Sandwich may be asking for that. So I don't know. But one of the things I like about the Earl of Sandwich is that when you come out of either park, you can pop over to the Earl of Sandwich, buy yourself a sandwich and take it home if you like. or eat it in the picnic grounds, or smuggle it in your bag and eat it at Disneyland. But the point is that it's a good economical way to have a good meal, very good food, but doesn't rob your bank. And since you've been, putting your coffers together to get into the park, it's kind of nice to have a place like that. Porto's is a very, very popular bakery, and here in Burbank, they are responsible for a heck of a traffic jam where they are almost 90% of the time. So if you're trying to get to Disneyland and you don't care about Porto's, you may have to go through a great crowd. I hope not, because one thing you don't have to do to get to the Porto's here is go through security. But you do have to, in order to get to Porto's at Downtown Disney, you're going to have to go through security. So you do have that issue. So maybe it won't be as crowded, but I just look at the locations it has, and it only has a handful, and they all create traffic jams because people just love the food, love the potato balls, love the beef patties, etc., the beef stuffed, whatever those are. However, they're using less beef now, so I'm not so thrilled with that. But the point is it's a very, very popular location. Hundreds of people coming out daily. They really are doing a big business. So I think it's going to create a traffic jam when you're trying to get to Disneyland. Only time will tell if they get that spot. But I just keep thinking, I wish Earl of Sandwich was there. But the point is, there's more and more places that are higher end cost-wise. So you're going to start bringing your own lunches and eating outside, and maybe not partaking in Downtown Disney when you buy in your food. If you can't afford it, you can't afford it. So again, they should ask you, like I said, Tortilla Joe's wasn't perfect, but it was affordable and the food was decent. You're not going to get 5-star food for a 3-star price, but at least you get something, to feed your children. Kids are hungry. They don't understand, I can't afford it. So, yeah. And it was, some proteins in your kids instead of a bunch of sugar and candy, right? So just saying, I don't know what to think about that. Hi, Terry. On a game show I like it when the game show host says to the returning champion, "Oh, you were so close." And that's what I say. Oh, we're so close, aren't we? Thank you, Mike. Hey, Terry. On the game show I like when the game show host says to, yep, he says it twice. Yep. He just wanted to make sure that I was paying attention. Fascinating, says Jeanette. I know, right? Go take a look at some of the other channels. I've got to tell you that a lot of the channels there are people actually comparing this, people actually discussing and comparing this, because, this is something that is a shame. They're pulling a skin over a wider facial structure, a wider skeleton, and wider skulls don't work. Okay. It just doesn't work. Pick a skull, pick a wide skull. Let's take a baboon versus a monkey, a little monkey. Doesn't work. Baboon skull is never going to make a little monkey. You cannot sculpt. I mean, you can sculpt a monkey type creature over a baboon skull, but you're going to be hard pressed to do it. You're going to be a lot better if you use a monkey skull. Cat skull to sculpt a cat. Dog skull to sculpt a dog. And I don't mean a real skull. But the skull is the foundation. You should study these skulls. And you don't have to have an actual skull. There's a great company called Bone Clones, and they make synthetic skulls that you can work on. So you don't have to have the actual skull. I like the actual skull. Years ago, and I don't know if it's still around, there was a company that was called Maxilla and Mandible who provided skulls for research purposes done humanely. So as you know, there's a lot of desert areas, like, for example, Africa, where the animals die and their bones bleach in the sun. So there was an agreement with the government to get some of these animals, or if an animal is sick or dying, their carcass is shipped. The skulls are shipped to Maxilla and Mandible out of New York. And the beetles, you've heard of those little beetles that eat the flesh? That's how the skulls are cleaned. They put them in a barrel full of these little beetles, and it's humanely done. So it's none of it is, they aren't killed for their skulls or anything creepy, although some people do that, as we know. This is not Maxilla and Mandible. And I've been able to get some beautiful skulls. One of them that I love very much is the beaver, because often people will not know that a beaver is chewing on wood because the teeth come from the back of the head and continue to grow forward into the jaw. So if the beaver doesn't keep chewing, the teeth would go through the lower jaw, piercing it and killing the beaver. Did you know that? Yep. Yep. So FYI, okay? FYI. High frame rate. There you go. See, that's my husband right here. And he's saying high frame rate. The Hobbit was done. They did a version of the film in a high frame rate, and it exposed all of the makeup techniques. So if you ever want to know how these hobbits were created, watch high frame rate. It'll tell you right there, and you can duplicate it. Yeah, or you can ask me and I'll tell you how to duplicate it, because you wanted to do a wig or something, and how do I apply it and how do I blend it into you just watch that, because you can see all of the sins. Yeah. It's a shame you can, but you can. Makeup artists were going all over the world when that version came out. Ryan says, yeah, it was super easy, and he pulled out a poster I had missed, poster from Snow White Scary Adventures. Yeah, I remember that. Wasn't that nice? Yeah, so I encourage you guys, I hope you will go to Alan's auction and lend some support. Also, watch how he did it. As you hear from Ryan, it's easy to participate on Whatnot. Ryan, do you like it better than eBay? Many sellers are saying they like it better than eBay. As a purchaser, do you like it better than eBay? Probably because it's live and you can talk to the person, I think would be a plus, but let me know what you think. Good morning, Terry. I feel that most of the recent Imagineers don't have the same heart and soul that original Imagineers had. They don't seem to have the ambition and the knowledge as those of the past. Sadly, so much has been lost in the reimagining and retheming of the original attractions that Walt created. Boy, Joseph, that is a mouthful. And I missed Joe Penny saying, hey, everyone. Didn't miss you. There you go. Wow. Yeah. That's that one. Where am I at here? Good morning, Terry. Here it is. Walt created. That's the one. Okay. Sorry. I was getting myself very confused, Joseph. Let's just leave you up here for a minute. Very well said, Joseph. Very, very well said. And yeah, ow. This is rough. And some Imagineers, I feel, are institutionalized. They're chasing the money more than they're chasing their creativity. But can we blame them? I mean, before we start pointing fingers at people, understand you do what you do to survive. A lot of times you make your decisions because survival is at the base. So again, lead with tolerance from your heart. Put your heart out to all of them, and hope that it gets better. We got to keep saying, speaking it, keep talking, keep saying. Disney, get an advisory committee, ask people, reach out. It's going to make your job so easy. I promise you, as someone who it's made easy, because I don't just guess, I ask. So with the poster I showed you, I just did one. I just thought, what does this look like blown up? And my husband said it was fuzzy. And I said, don't care, because it's a ghost. And I like that ghostly feeling of it. I really liked that. I'm not just telling you a story. I liked that feel. And so do my collectors. So we leave it alone. We leave it alone. So there you go. So hello, Joe. Good to see you. Hi, Terry. On the game show, I like part when the game show host says he's going to just keep repeating. You should add at the end. You were so close. You were so close. Because he said it about 3 times here, hasn't he? There you go. The more I hear about how much Disneyland has changed, usually not for the better, says Joe, the less I'm actually want to return there. Even if I was a multimillionaire, I don't know if I would be inclined to visit Disneyland these days. It's my husband. He's not really in there to go back. He goes back and he's just like, the thrill is gone. And that's too bad. The good news is that one thing keeps returning to Disneyland that continues to please and excite, and that's you guys. I love going and sitting at a table and just visiting with you guys. I don't think I do a lot of attractions much anymore. I need to see the new Indiana Jones. I haven't seen that yet since they fixed it up. I was told that you don't go, they've stopped taking you through one of 3 doors. You only go through 1 door now. Again, budget, right? I always say, decided they wanted to, they want to have more profit is what some of you are saying. At that much money per day, maybe it's not budget, it's profit. We can do this for less, which is why one of the reasons Tokyo Disneyland is so beautiful, because they just pulled out all the stops and made a fabulous park. So if you get the chance to see Paris, which is my park, and see the dragon, my dragon, then you're going to have a great time. You're going to have a really, really good time. And Tokyo is a great park to go to. And then Hong Kong, which is just redone a lot. My colleague went and saw it and thought it was beautiful. Hong Kong has a few challenges they have to fight, like real mountain ranges. Disney can't mow down the mountain ranges to put the castle in a better perspective. They just got to do what they can do with an already existing mountain range. But one of the things you may or may not know is Hong Kong is the only park that faces in a different direction than all the other parks. And this is because Hong Kong is very, very much into feng shui. And I'm not talking about 2 shells in your bedroom to create unity, although that is wonderful. This is the 5,000 plus year old, more than 5,000, but the old feng shui, the deep. And you'll feel when you step into the park a sense of relaxation. Your shoulders, if they're up here, will actually go down without you knowing it. So I'm drawing your attention to it because you'll go, and you won't understand why. That's why. Feng shui. A lot of water features there. It's a very relaxing park. You go in and you relax. I don't care how crowded it is. It's a beautiful place. And don't try to see it all in one day. People say it's so small you can see it in half a day. I disagree. There are so many beautiful things in that park. Take your time. Enjoy the day there. Beautiful food, amazing food. Beautiful pictures, amazing pictures. Beautiful attractions, and a wonderful place just to walk around. So Hong Kong is beautiful. Japan is beautiful. And Disneyland in Florida, it's not that they're not. It's just Disney needs to ask more. Just ask more. Please ask the fans. It is such an easy thing to do. And you all want to contribute. You all want to help. You want to help them be better because you, love them. It's confusing, isn't it? Why not ask the body that loves them beyond all reason? You are fans of Disney. You love them. I know, because you're collecting these popcorn buckets so much that other theaters are starting to offer popcorn buckets. Pretty shabby of popcorn buckets, by the way. But the Disney buckets are so cute, and you love them, and you love the way they work, and you don't care if it's 2 kernels of popcorn or it actually fits the bucket inside. You love them, and you buy them, and you cuddle them, and you're so happy. Why don't they just ask you guys? Which is why I keep saying it. Ask the fans. Ask the fans. Why don't you ask the fans, Disney? You see what I mean? I don't get it. Hi, kiddo Greg. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you last Monday. Greg here, along with my friend Vince G. They both have a beautiful podcast / page you may want to check out called Antiquities and Collectibles, I think is what it's called, right, Greg? It's amazing. So go over there and join it. It's they do interviews with artists, and artists bring their collections, or people bring their rare and fun collections. You guys should probably do a Zoom interview if you haven't already, Greg, with Pegasus Loft. His collection is phenomenal, and he loves my work. But that I digress on them. That's a side note. But it's a great collection. It's a massive and stunning collection. So it's a fun one if you haven't interviewed Pegasus Loft. Pegasus Loft, Loft. He's on Facebook, so you can see. Okay. They've made it clear that they're not really interested in honoring Walt Disney's legacy. Yes, they have, haven't they? By calling it Disney Pictures, not Walt Disney Pictures, right? Yeah, they are interested in one thing and one thing only, making lots of money. And it's a shame that you feel this way, Joe, and you're not alone. We're starting to feel like they want to shake us upside down by our ankles and just get that last coin to fall. And even if that's your intention, you shouldn't really tell us. You should pretend it's not, but they don't pretend very well, do they? Pretty awful. Disney has priced itself out of a lot of things. No Disney vacation this year. $5,000, says Mike Clark, just to get to go to Disney World and enjoy it without worry. We are done for now. We have to be done for now. Think about it, $5,000, okay? And in this case of Mike Clark, is it Mike, you and your wife, or is that with the kids too? I would think maybe you and a plus one. Let's say you and a plus one, okay, for the simplicity of it all. If it's $5,000 to do that, what happens is you start to think about what else you can do with $5,000. You see, and in some cases, Disney has said they don't care. They just want the big money people to come to the park and spend money. So people from Dubai who have billions of dollars, or your Elon Musk types or stuff like that. But those guys, they're not a lot of those. And they don't necessarily like going to go to Disneyland and do it. There are those who just give their kids the world, spend billions of dollars like it's pennies on the dollar, and those people are great. But those people get bored easily, and they, when you can rent a plane and fly around the world, you know what I mean? So don't put all your money in that basket, Disney, because they're not necessarily going to jump on the bandwagon and go to Disneyland for massive amounts of money. But you're right, Mark, they have. Joe, regarding the Tiana animatronic, not really impressed. I really believe that Disney management simply doesn't get it anymore. I think budget cuts, and I know, just like was said earlier, okay, what do you mean budget cuts at what was it, 47 million a day? Again, if you're one of those people who felt like Tiana was getting hand-me-downs, you must really feel that way now. And it's and is anybody out there, if you're trying to be woke or whatever the terminology is now, Belle is a white chick, and now they're stretching over a woman of color over a white chick skeleton. I'm not saying this is a bad thing or a good thing, but does it give a different message than what they're trying to say to you, is my question. And it's my question. I'm asking it. KD, Alto. Hello, KD. Nice to see you. How is my mom? She's doing fine. I'm going to see her this afternoon. Thank you, Mike, for always asking. Yes. Jeanette says, quite a few years ago, I saw a Disney Animation Studio maquette of a human body without the skin, part of Fred Coplett's collection before digital. Yeah. Really cool. Do you remember the Joe Cocker one? You used to be able to tour. Sometimes Disney would have a family day. As an Imagineer, I used to watch the Joe Cocker one, and he would, he would sing, and he was just the skeleton. It was amazing. It was amazing. And then you'd get the skin of a kid. Yeah, it's amazing. Yep. Katie says, if you want good AA figures, you got to go to Tokyo. She's right. Ooh, doggy, they have some nice ones. They also have some nice walk-around costumes that people wear. Amazing. Yeah, and the food is brilliant. Oh, so much to love. So much to love, Katie. You are so right. Ryan says, way better than eBay. I think so. A lot of artists are saying this, Ryan. A lot of this are saying that. So I'm looking at it, and when I get a minute and get my collection together, I'm going to do like Alan did. I'm going to post some of my lovely art, put it up there for auction, and see what people say. Yeah. And it's not just Disney, is it, Ryan? It's all kinds of stuff. Yeah, it's all different walks of life on that Whatnot app, right? Right? Am I right or am I wrong? Katie Young, if you want a good Disneyland, you have to go to Tokyo. More affordable, higher quality, just like Japanese electronic cars, 70s and 80s. Absolutely. Joe Penny on the bucket list, says Katie. It is a great park. I've been to them all. And each one has a special diamond quality. Paris is the dragon. Yes, exactly. The thrill is gone. It's deeply upsetting and it makes me both sad and angry. Yeah, it does me too. Walt worked hard to get that park established. Walt worked hard to make it a place for everybody. And it's not a place for everybody anymore, is it? Nope, it certainly isn't. Arch 2. Great advice, says KD. I'm just going through. Hey, Terry, I have been doing my exercises. You have? Good. Good. Congratulations. We're working on that too. Christopher Williams says, hello, Christopher. New to the posts, to me anyway. Unfortunately, I will not be going back to any Disney park, says Christopher. Nor will I give Disney another dime of my money until something changes. And drastically, Disney leadership is complete failure. They hate Walt. Now, this is a strong comment coming from Christopher, okay? But he has a good point. Now, Christopher, what I would encourage you to do is if you have an Instagram, you have a Facebook page, you have things like this, is continue to say to Disneyland, something's got to give. This is why I'm here. This is why Terry TV is, I talk about all kinds of things on Terry TV. You know I do, because it's my brain. Try to keep up. Squirrel. Anyway, but the point is I want to keep saying it, because although I don't have a lot of followers, I have quality followers like you, and we're all having a conversation. And I think if we keep it up and we keep consistent and we keep asking them to ask, someone somewhere might get a clue and do just that. But if we're quiet and we just stew in our own juices, as my father used to say, it doesn't help. We just need to get the word out. And if that means writing a letter to corporate, which I've done that as well, or an email to corporate, which I've done that as well. But I think an actual letter, if you can find a place and an address, a letter is usually worth 15,000 signatures at the time, because a lot of people don't write letters anymore. People don't look at their emails. So is email really effective? I think everyone looks at social media, especially in the corporate world. So they might come across this channel, or they might come across something you say, and maybe they'll take heed. I can't let them, by not taking heed, give up, is what I'm saying. And I don't think we should. This is a super quality group of people, and we all have a very similar voice. We're not saying we don't like you. We're not saying we hate you. We're just saying, remember who created you. Disney, Walt Disney. By the way, Walt Disney did that. Please, don't erase Walt. Celebrate Walt. Continue to celebrate that which is your foundation. Okay, that's what we're saying. And to ask us if you don't know how. Maybe you're new and you're going, who is this Walt Disney person? Because there are those that do that. I know you're shocked. But we're here to tell you all about him. So many people who know about him, who love him and are grateful for Disneyland and Disney parks. And for those of you who are cast members and you're listening right now, we're not dissing you. In fact, we're grateful to you, those of you who are at the Disney parks right now, because you're creating the magic. Even if the Imagineers fall short, you always never do. You're always building us up, making us have that great experience. Time and time again, I hear guests say, cast member so-and-so or cast member such and such made my day. Keep it up, guys. Keep it up. Be the best you as a cast member and help us love Walt. But as a Disney enthusiast, you do the same. Everyone you know, if you get in a conversation, don't get angry at the person. Get a little irritated with the idea and have a good debate without insulting the person opposite you. But help them to understand why you're fighting so much, why you feel Walt's name should be included if you meet someone who says, it was just a guy. Boy, doesn't that get you? But if it does, you got to say, no, it wasn't just a guy. It wasn't just a guy. It was a man who was against all odds, creating something wonderful, and beautiful. It all started with a merry-go-round in the middle of a little park called Griffith Park. Walt got an idea and he couldn't let it go. Thank goodness he didn't, because if he had said, "Oof, I've hit a wall, I give up," we wouldn't have Disney today. We wouldn't have Disney Animation. We wouldn't have Disney Parks, and we wouldn't have the Disney Corporation. We might have had something that's sort of like it, but we wouldn't have Disney. And Disney is wonderful. So we need to get the wonder back in wonderful for Disney. So I appreciate, Christopher, what you're saying here. I want to ask you to continue to say it. Don't be a stranger, Christopher. Even if you just come and see me on Mondays and Fridays and state what you feel, please do. You are so welcome. And it's so important that you speak your piece. Thank you for speaking your piece. Bob Burdine says the main reason it's run by suits not interested in guests only, profits is ruling and motivating their choice under the guise of stockholders. A few friends started leaving for that exact reason. And stockholders don't necessarily make the money, do they? It's those corporate people at the top, Iger, who was making like what, 93, 95, $105 million, billion dollars? Come on, there's only so much money you can spend, dude. So it's like, put some of it back into your business. You know, you can listen to people talk about how to have a good business, and they always say, roll some back into your business. Pay so you can pay yourself. But these other people are like, pay yourself first, and the business never gets to see a dime. You know, it's I could go on forever. Can you tell? I think Vince has already contacted George to interview him for Pegasus. Left now. That's Loft. And yes, good, Francisca, because I would have, that would have been my thing. I have been going to Universal and will be visiting EF, what is that? Efteling soon as well. Elfling. Those places are more Walt Disney to me now. It may be a spell check or I just can't read, Christopher. The second is possible, for real. Bob Burdine, maybe they can find more stockholders to go to the park instead of us regular people. Good point, Joe. Good point. Christopher says, yes, you nailed it. The woke is what has driven me away more than anything else. It's all giant virtual signal, fraudulent. And like I said, if you try to please everybody, you get this soup that doesn't taste like anything or taste foul, because you can't please everybody. Make a stand, go for it, be with it, enjoy it. You know, come on, stop. We went to Paris last summer, loved your dragon, and Tokyo will be summer of 2025. You're going to love it, man. Allow yourself time. Allow yourself time. And if you are someone who doesn't want to spend a lot of money, I suggest don't stay in a Disney hotel. The one thing is the monorail runs past all the hotels. So you can get a really good bargain at a Hyatt or a Marriott or whatever's on the monorail track. The monorail track goes to all points. That's what's really great about Tokyo. All points in Disneyland, in the Disneyland Resort area. So you can go there and save your money, and then you can go tour those hotels, the Ambassador, the one, unless you're really, really eager to get into Disney Seas early. You have to stay at the hotel to do that. But honestly, when you compare how much it costs to stay at a Disneyland hotel versus one of those little hotels along the side, do yourself a favor. How much are you in that room? Stay at one of those hotels and then go visit the others. They are gorgeous. And then you can have that money to spend on souvenirs, which are great in Tokyo, by the way. Yep. And then go see Tokyo. Do not plan to go see Tokyo Disneyland without seeing Tokyo. Okay. Do not do it. And one of the places you need to go is the Ginza, toy capital of the world, in my opinion. 7-story high toys from all over Japan's beautiful creativity. You're going to go nuts. Bring a big bag. There you go. I've got to get back to Tokyo Disney as well. I haven't been since 2019. Now even traveling there has become expensive. Hopefully soon. Yes, indeed. I agree. Every trip to DLR or WDW has follow-up communication to powers that be behind the mouse. Yes, is that you doing that? I think it's you doing that. Good. Because the researching is, okay, a lot of times people to listen to what they want to listen to and ignore the rest. I don't mean that, but I mean, I don't mean everyone, but I do mean most. Yeah. People don't read. Yeah. A lot of people don't read. It's kind of scary. Joseph says, I eventually have to get back to Paris as well. It's been almost 15 years. I've never been to Hong Kong or Shanghai. Shanghai is big. Big, big, big. They didn't do a main street because they have to be able to accommodate 1 million people. Because they have like what, 1 billion in their country. I can't even imagine it, that many people. But yeah, and then yeah, let me know when you're ready to go, and we can talk about a few things to expect over there. I won't digress with it now, but yeah. Joseph Yakovetic, hello, darling, out of Florida. When I worked at NBC, one letter represented 300 people. So apply that today when people don't write letters. Also, letters get read even before emails. 9 times out of 10. Okay, I got to tell you that for my dad's celebration of life, I wrote a couple letters, but I mostly texted everybody because you look at your texts. Not invasively. I just wanted you to get the message. And many people were very grateful because, like me, I don't look at my emails. People have to text me to let me know if there's an important email I need to look at. Yeah, so there you go. There you go on that. And very well said, Joseph. Good to see you. Word on CMs. Yes, exactly. Word on CMs, meaning cast members, for those of you who find these initials a little confusing. Nothing towards KD, but sometimes you guys do initials and I'm like, you got to explain that to me. But I'll tell you. I'll ask. I'm not shy about that. Stockholders, really, Bob? I've been a stockholder since 1969, and it's no longer about the stockholders, only the high-end Disney executives with their salary increase. Greg, I got to agree with you there, buddy. I'm a stockholder too. I don't have a lot of it, but I have a good portion of it, and I never get a say. So I'm kind of like you. I agree. But I do think it's interesting that Bob pops in with stockholders because it makes you think for a minute. As a stockholder, what can you do as a stockholder to maybe get them to step up? It just makes me think a little bit. That's all I'm saying about that. So, I know you were shocked and I'll give you that because I am too, but it does pose the question, is there any more we can do as stockholders? Yeah. Is there? Christopher says, EF Telling is a beautiful theme park in the Netherlands. Is it elf telling or F telling? What does it mean? The Netherlands, based on fairy tales and legends. See, he's going to tell me now. See, that's why I said, what does it mean? Because I knew there was more. Fairy tales and legends from the art of Anton. Is that Pieck? Tony Baxter really loves this place. Disney visited before building Disneyland Paris. Gardner Holt has done work for them, and they're fairly recently. Awesome. Well, it's the first I've heard of it. But then I've been with family business, so no, I wouldn't have heard of it until you telling me. I'd much rather hear it from you. So how exciting. How lovely. I'll look that up and see what it looks like. See what it means. See what it's about. Because, the Netherlands are lovely. Yes. I would love to go to the Netherlands. I'd love an excuse. Like you actually need one, right? Evil, 7 stories of toys. Joyful. Yeah, I should show you some of the toys. When I get back in my studio, I'll show you some of the ones I bought. They are exquisite. Only from Japan. Many people say their popcorn buckets are superior too. And many of you have shown me those, and they kind of are, aren't they? Joe says, Greg, they're pricing themselves so high that eventually the only people who will be able to afford to go will be highly paid executives and their celebrity friends. So you see, there we go. Bam. There you go. That's what they're saying. And you don't want to count on that because it always collapses. 9 times out of 10, it just falls away into kindling wood because kindling wood starts a fire. You can't just start with a big log because it may catch a little bit, but it doesn't burn all the way through, does it? You got to have the kindling wood to get that fire hot enough to burn the big log, is what I'm saying, the big fire log. Okay? You got to have a good foundation in the cake, or the icing tastes terrible, the whole thing. Even if the icing is fancy, the cake tastes terrible. So, guys, that's it. Yes, I write letters to the corp. There you go. We're going to follow you and do the same, KD. Greg, that's exactly why I said under the guise of stockholders, they are shifting the blame. Exactly. We get it, guys. You're right. Sorry, old CM, old cast member. No. That's what I'm talking about. Cast members are the ones that are keeping the magic alive. Yeah, and have you seen what they've been paid lately? I rest my case. Normally, heard it pronounced Efteling. 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 Ooh, that's so nice. Efteling. Efteling. Thank you, KD. Thank you. Thank you for helping me out with that. Efteling. In the Netherlands. Ooh, I can't wait. Telling F what the F telling you. Joe, behave yourself. Stinker. KD, yes, it's pronounced Efteling. Efteling? Efteling. Efteling. Anyway, I want to check it out. I do indeed. Thank you, Christopher. We are never too old for toys. Ever. Yeah, I was telling people that if you have a collection and you're worried about your kids selling it in a garage sale, you may consider places like the Disneyana Fan Club. And because they cherish, you get people who go to the Disneyana Fan Club show and sale because they're looking for that special, wonderful something, right? And this came from a collection. This is a nesting doll. Isn't it beautiful? It's a beautiful nesting doll. I won't take it apart now, but the painting on it is exquisite and lovely. And it was willed to me by a very dear friend and fan. And I'm very happy to have it, very grateful for it. And it was given to me at the Disneyana fan event from the daughter of a woman that I loved so much and loved my husband so much. She sounded just like Clucky. She'd say, "Where's me boyfriend?" And always ask me about Lindsay. So every time I look at it, I hear, "Where's me boyfriend? Boyfriend." So it's special, very special. But that's what you can do. You can find some really special things at this event, the Disneyana Fan Club event. If there's a pin you're looking for that you can't find, or if there's something that you just haven't had any luck on some of these auction sites that we've been mentioning, that's a great place to go to sell your wares as a young person. So if you're someone who has this vast collection and you don't know if your family follows in your footsteps, be sure they just know where they can sell it. And a garage sale is not where you want it. The Whatnot app would be a great place as well, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it, Ryan? Yeah, because Ryan says it's genius. So let's listen to Ryan. Did you hear about cast members in the parades and characters are joining one of the acting unions? Of course I did. And well, they should, shouldn't they? They got to be protected because many of them, and I won't mention any names, many of them are too small in stature, meaning their physique, to be inside characters that are so heavy that it's starting to damage their bodies and their nerve systems. Can't have that, guys. Okay, they love to do these characters, but they're hurting themselves when it's happening. So the union will protect them and give them rest times, hours and hours as this character. If it's a physical a physical difficult character to do, okay, and not just when it's hot. Okay, a lot of times Disney has stipulations for heat exhaustion, but there's more. There's crippling weight that some of these characters are when a person has to perform them, and they love it so much that they keep going on because they don't want to not do the character. So a union is going to help protect them in that. Make sure they get certain things for their bodies and their, OSHA protects them, of course, but who wants to be injured and then on OSHA, taking care of their already injured body? That's not right. So this will help protect them. So I'm 100% in agreement with this. I thought the characters and parade talent were already AGVA, American Guild of Variety Artists. I know when, here, let's feed the rest of her. I auditioned for, I would have had to join AGVA. Yes, it's different. It's a little different, sweetie. Because AGVA is, like you said, variety performers. but the costume characters in the field, as far as I understand, don't have any coverage. So, the ones that are on stage, AGVA, right? But the ones that are in the park, walk around, your Chippendales and things that meet and greet to the people in the park, I don't think they're covered. I mean, if you are a cast member who knows, feel free to chime in. But I didn't get cast. Yeah, well, they're just crazy, aren't they? Yeah. Joe Penny says, but the stockholders demand that the CMs work 24/7 without a break, as Bob Iger can buy another yacht. I wouldn't put this on the stockholders, okay, unless you've talked to stockholders, Joe. I wouldn't put that on the stockholders, because a lot of times what Disney does is point to someone who can't necessarily come out and say, no, he didn't. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like people pointing the same direction, and at the bottom of people is the stockholders. So they end up with all the stuff rolling downhill and landing on them. I mean, I'm not saying this about all stockholders, but I am saying that this is something that they could say is happening with us that we can't even talk back to, strongly enough. So I wouldn't say it quite that way. Iger and another yacht, I'd say that, but the other stuff that you're saying, I can't back that up. No, I can't agree with that. Oh, that sucks. Go get union. Thanks for insight. Yeah, union is important. Yeah, it's important. Obviously, I'm kidding. I understand you are, but also, that people are sensitive about this, Joe. They're very sensitive, because Disney is their baby. Disney is their family, like yours. It's your family, but people are even more. It's even more family. In fact, on my Patreon page, many cast members will say they hope that when we say that Disney is broken, that we don't mean they are, because the cast members love this park and they're working really hard to make it a beautiful place for you to be, in spite of some of the things they have to deal with. I hope you all understand this. I hope you all get this. So, and the cast members understand that we're with you, not against you. Not against you. We're with you. And we want you safe, and we want you protected, and we want you to have a park that everyone celebrates and everyone can enjoy. And we're grateful to each and every one of you for hanging in there and making it special for those who can do it. Okay, please don't think that we are, if you're feeling a little bit attacked or whatever you may be feeling, that is not the intention of the people on this channel. People on this channel. Is it, guys? No, it's not. Okay, here's a big one. Greg is like, I used to write into Disney WDW publicity back in the 60s and 90s and would get back some response. Publicity kits and other amazing letters from many of our beloved Disney people, such as Herbie Ryman, Yale Gracie, Roy Disney, Dave Smith, and so many others. But now all you get is a link to a Disney page. It just isn't the same. It's sad, yes, but don't give up, Greg. Keep writing. Shawshank them. If you don't know what that means, look at Shawshank Redemption. You'll learn. But keep Shawshanking them. Don't give up. It takes a village. We must be that village. Okay? Whether we do it in our broadcasts. Today's broadcast is brought to you by the fans and the people of Disney. We want you to listen to us. Please listen to us. You see? My sarcasm doesn't translate well in text. Joe, we all have this problem. We know you didn't mean it in a mean way. The Crumpet Puppet team is in the house. Well said. I agree 100%. See, they're chiming in too. See, if someone would watch this channel, they would see it, some people, and we're not being mean. We're being frank. Not Frank, my client, but we're being forward, truthful, and upfront. And we have the right to be that way, I feel. Yeah. As long as we're not swearing and cussing and being mean and attacking human beings. We're attacking the idea, not the people. The people at the top need to get a clue. That's what we're saying. You guys seem to not care by your actions, and don't actions speak louder? Your actions say you don't care about us except for the money. And we're all telling you that's what the message we're getting. That's the message we're getting. Don't know if that's the message you want to send, which you probably will say, we don't want to send that. It's the stockholders. Nah, it's not true. I remember doing the Flintstones, and Steven Spielberg didn't like the first design for Dino, which was approved by the movie people. Spielberg, actually. And when the Dino was on camera for the first time, Spielberg came in and people with him, and he hated Dino. And he said, how did this design get through? And people started doing, wasn't me, him, wasn't me, him, wasn't me, him. And at the bottom was Henson, the Jim Henson Company. And we were like, it's not us. We got signatures, as a builders and as performers and everything. Anyway, that's what happens. The guy on the bottom gets the brunt of it. And in the paying area, it's the stockholders. And then, of course, you guys who are attendees, we're all getting it. We're all getting hurt. The stock is going down. If it was skyrocketing and we all had beach houses, maybe we would say, well, this is what's motivating them. But the stock is, look at the numbers. That thing is so. I don't think it's helping what they're doing. I don't think it even helps the stockholders. Back to my shadows, says Katie. Got to hit Amtrak for Fresno and Barstow. Working street character at Calico, California Days weekend. Try to tune in once a week, even if I don't say much. Stay on the planet. Love you, Katie. And there's a fun thing to do. Go look at Calico, California Days. That might be a good thing to do, is come see you, sweetie. I'll love to learn more later. Thank you, Greg. I wrote to Ron Miller back in 80, and he wrote back to me a dedicated letter on WDP letterhead. But he addressed many topics I raised and signed it personally. Iger would never do that, right? You guys are pointing out some very important stuff here. Crumpet Puppet Productions says, I mean, it's unfortunate, but that's just not a Disney thing. I guess this is a different time now where it's harder to get a response from companies because of how much they've expanded or how much they fire people. You write to one and they're out. So it's hard that way too. Yes. I love the Flintstones movie, probably my favorite movie based on a cartoon. Thank you. Very nice of you to say that. Christopher says, Joe Penny, Iger's too busy taking 2 showers a day and destroying what was once the greatest entertainment company on the planet. I wish I could get paid to do absolutely nothing. We all wish we could do that, right? But yeah, I'm not going to get into another topic. You guys are so on fire today. I'm loving it. I had the VHS of that movie growing up and watched it so much, I pretty much wore it out. I will tell you something. There is a place called Be Kind Video, and it sells VHS, DVDs, laser discs, etc., etc., etc. Run by my dear friend Matt. You've got to check it out. It'll blow you away. When you walk in, it'll be like too much eye candy. But you'll say, Matt, do you have, and you'll ask him a question. And it's fun to watch Matt go just about right to it. And when you see it, it's not done alphabetically. It's like organized chaos. But Matt walks right up to where it is. Like it may take him, like he may walk this way and go, and pull it from the other side. And you're just blown away. You're just blown away. Good prices. You can buy and rent from Be Kind. You got to check it out. It's really cool. I went just this week. Guys, check it out. It's in the Burbank area on Magnolia, just close to Hollywood Way. Come check it out. Google it. They got a little website that can tell you all about it. Be Kind Video, I think it's what it says. Oh, anyway, it's great. Just look it up. Go VHS store in Burbank, and you can't miss it. All right? Just in case I got it all wrong. We used to communicate with Roger to the point we sent us to Rebecca Klein. I just saw her at an event, and when she asked me my name, she looked at me and said, oh, now I put a face to the name. I was just blown away when she remembered my name. Yeah, that's Becky. Yeah, you can write to Becky, actually. And you just did. So congratulations. Too true. It's unfortunate how many people get fired from these places over time or not over time. You go and you say, I'm talking to this person, and then they call like a week later and they go, sorry, they're gone. I still have some of the toys from the Flintstones movie too. Good for you. Are there any you don't have? I might have them in my garage. Nice to hear that there's some place in Southern California that VHS tapes and Laserdiscs are available. I remember some places in Austin like that. Yeah, reach out to them. They are a great group of people. They are wonderful. Terry, do you remember Puffin Stuff, the movie from 1970? I do. I just rewatched it for the first time in years a few days ago. Yes, and I had an interview with Sid Croft because Sid and Marty were one of my mentors when I was just beginning puppetry. It was fantastic. Bob, these are coming in. Iger doing autocorrect. We got the idea though. I can so relate to the Jim Henson comment you just said, Terry. I got that same thing happen to my coworkers, and when we went to present our Disney Beach and Yacht Club design that Michael Eisner and Frank Wells didn't like, even though all the Imagineers we were working with said was all thumbs up. Talk about a lot of finger pointing for blame. Yeah, yeah. This happens, and the person on the bottom is the one who catches it all without saying a swear word. They catch all the poop. Yeah, I mean, it's a shame, but Henson's had to work really fast to redesign Dino, and I had to perform by the skin of my teeth because they were threatening. The production was threatening to pick another effects team. But we came through, we pulled through, and we did a great job because, after all, we are the Jim Henson Muppeteers. So we were fine, but it was scary when it happened. Absolutely. I don't have the Dictabird. Still need that. Well, I'll keep an eye out for you, okay? As I go through my stuff, I will look for the Dictabird, all right? I saw that. Love Sid Croft. I know him too. He's been mentioning me since I was 16-year-old. Sid's a gem. And he was very happy to reunite with me. We hadn't reunited in a long time. So we did this really nice over an hour interview session, and it was great. And we'll probably do it again. I check in with him every so often. Hi, Sid. Have a good day. Think of you. Love, Terry. Pretty much what I say. Mm-hmm. Don't steal that from me, by the way. Say love from you. I'm kidding. All the Croft shows are now streaming for free on service called Cinverse right now. Well, look at you. That is great. All of them? Is Oral Roberts Celebration doing it? The Fudge Family? I was involved with that, along other things. I love Sid's interviews. Yes, they're so lovely. I don't always get to catch them, but there they are. Oh my gosh, we almost went 2 hours. I thought you guys were so fired up that I should get all of your posts on here, and that's why I stayed a little extra. I have got a lot of work to do. One of the things I'm going to do, Mike Pruitt, is go see my mother. So I need to get that done. I need to get that stuff done. I have a lot of other things, obligations to do. This weekend is going to be full. Surprise. But so excited. Wonderful to talk to all of you. So happy that you, somebody says most of it allows streaming, but not all of them. Actually, it's got all the classics. Okay, so he's retelling you, letting you know not everything's on there. But if you want to be on there, it's great. Guys, it's so good to talk to you. So lovely to hear from you. So lovely to see that. I mean, I knew we were all together. And if you look at how many people follow me, if you know someone who wants to get in on this or whatever, please share my channel. Please say Terry does this, but we all talk about how much we care about these things that are disappearing because for whatever reason, we don't necessarily know why. Why would they not want Walt? But don't answer that now because I've got to go. But maybe the next time we can talk about that. Maybe sometime Monday. Monday is a maybe because it's a holiday. And I may take advantage of said holiday to get some work done. And if I do, know that I'll speak with you Friday, okay? I love you guys. Hugs. So sweet. Last comment is Greg. We were told that groundbreaking was happening in just 3 weeks. Talk about all of us having to work around the clock, 8-hour shifts. The design you see today was a pale comparison. Like I said, across the board, right, guys? Thank you for joining in. Do something nice for someone else. It'll make you feel a whole lot better. You've made my day today. Had no idea I was going to have to get through the comments and it was going to take 2 hours. What a joy. How great. And they all say, you're very sweet. Have a good weekend. Enjoy. Love you guys. Mwah! I will see you Friday or maybe Monday. Have a happy President's Day. Bye for now.